Greetings, BArcadians, and welcome to Gaming News Weekly. Hopefully your favourite gaming news-inspired show with your host, me, Tabs, and my good friend and gaming bestie. Oh, I've got to come up with a new one, Rich. Think of one really quickly. Gaming...
Inadequate.
That's harsh. Anyway, he's the other host. Say hello, Rich.
Hello.
So, as ever, for every Friday at 5 p.m, Rich and I bring you three juicy topics that have been happening in the games industry this week, along with what we have been playing, which we'll come to shortly, and then we finish off with everything else, like a quick fire of all the bits we left out that we wanted to cover off. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Really helps us grow as a channel and bust through that algorithm. And before we move on to the big stories this week, let's dip into what we've mostly been playing. So, Rich, you're up first, buddy. What you've been playing this week?
I mean, I feel like at this point I sound like a broken record, but I've basically been playing Valheim. Can't get enough of it at the moment. I'm obviously been playing with you. A small amount, I would say, on my own, resource gathering, etc. Where did we get to this week? We killed the fourth boss with our good friend Andy, and then we've just been continuing to do more work on our building within that little world that we're creating together.
Spot on, my friend. Any kind of advocate comments you want to make to the global audience out there of Gaming News Weekly?
It's a lot of fun to play. It's a massive time drain, but I think there's something almost peaceful about a lot of the game. Not the combat necessarily, and certainly not the bosses. They can be quite stressful, but certainly the building aspect of the game, it is quite just therapeutic, just getting in there, building, resource gathering. It's quite enjoyable, and that's one of the things I've really taken away from it, how creative and enjoyable that aspect of the game is. So
yeah, 100%. I would agree. I think in this kind of lockdown climate that we're still in, hopefully clawing ourselves out of soon, I think because life is a bit samey and there's not so much texture and outlets, as you say, for creativity and for anything really, a game like this, and I suppose Animal Crossing probably had a similar sort of vibe to it for many. It just gives you that outlet, that ability to kind of create something somewhere. And like you say there is this quest line to the game, which we do enjoy and we like to push on. But aside from that, we've just been spending so much time, as have I this week, just base building. Essentially to... there's a purpose there, loosely. It will help support us through the rest of the game and resource gathering and whatnot. But ultimately, there is a sense of we're just doing it because it's a nice, fun thing to do. And you get to have something you can almost be proud of at the end of it as well. You can explore and... I would absolutely agree. I think it's a lovely little game that's dropped on us, and I can't wait for the next update. Maybe this spring we're hearing.
Absolutely.
But shall I move us on, Rich?
Go for it, brother.
So, first story this week, headline is Xbox Game Pass explodes. So we've got three separate pieces here from three different outlets. Let's start with The Verge. Microsoft finalised its Bethesda acquisition early this week, and now the company's revealing which existing games will appear on Xbox Game Pass. In total, 20 Bethesda titles will appear in Xbox Game Pass on Friday, including Dishonored, Doom, The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Wolfenstein. I presume that was last week, actually. Microsoft says 16 of the games will also be available across Xbox, PC, and xCloud, and that a handful of these games will also benefit from FPS boost on the Series X and S, essentially meaning that some games will even include frame rate improvements using the new Xbox FPS boost feature that was announced last month. Next up from The Slanted have said Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass is at the center of the company's ecosystem, and today it's expanding to include EA Play for PC players. New to the setup, EA Play is EA's game subscription service with Xbox Game Pass for PC. EA Play is now included in the price. Subscribers will start seeing content from EA on the storefront beginning at 5 p.m. Later today. Can't remember when that article's from, maybe this week sometime. This isn't new to consoles, of course, those who have Game Pass already anyway. but it's good that it's coming to the PC. And then finally, the Express. So this week, Microsoft announced an aggressive expansion of its Xbox Game Pass subscription service. This includes what subscribers will be able to download for free on their Xbox One and Xbox Series X consoles. In the final week of March, Xbox Game Pass will receive Octopath Traveler and Yakuza 6: The Song of Life, among a number of other titles. And before this, Nier, Automata, and Star Wars Squadrons will be offering another great range of games to play. All of these games will help keep Xbox Game Pass competitive, and Microsoft even has a big surprise planned for April, with Outriders being available to play for free via Xbox Game Pass when it's released next month. So, suffice to say, Rich, 3 news articles there, all roaring on about how, all these new propositions, all these new IPs coming to the Game Pass platform format. It's clear that Microsoft and Xbox are making a statement here. It's clear there's a lot of buzz and excitement around it, almost to the point where it's putting, the PlayStation Plus membership service in shadow. What do you make of it all?
It's really interesting, and I think we spoke at length that Microsoft ultimately, they don't really want to be console orientated, do they? They want to be game orientated because they can sell that to anybody to play on anything. And I think this is a movement further in that direction, as we spoke of before. We know Game Pass is a big thing, and Game Pass is getting substantially bigger. They've got Bethesda in their stable now, and they're going to use that to buff their Game Pass even further. And I think the addition of the EA Play for PC gamers, obviously that was a thing that was already for console gamers, so I think that's a good addition for PC gamers. And I think that the last bit you came on to, I think that's just their rebuttal to the PlayStation Plus. But yeah, I mean, with all these additions, and it's only going to get bigger and better from Microsoft, I think it's becoming quite a necessity almost to have Game Pass, especially if you are a console, an Xbox Series S or Series X owner. I think it's almost essential that you have this now. The value for money that it offers is just exceptional.
Yeah, I was going to say, mate, the value proposition alone, it's just incredible, isn't it? There's so much there. I mean, I think they've said themselves they want to be the Netflix of gaming in that respect in the past, and that's certainly what it's looking like now. As a gamer, it's hard to look past Game Pass in terms of what you're getting for your money. Go on.
Sorry to interrupt, but on the flip side of that, we've got Nintendo basically selling us a 7-year-old game for £60. And we've got on the complete opposite, we've got Game Pass giving us hundreds of games for a monthly charge.
Yeah, I think over time, the complexion of the market is going to be quite interesting, isn't it? Because we're going to feel like Nintendo and Sony PlayStation are perhaps peddling these old business models that just don't represent consumer value, especially when compared to Game Pass. And of course, we feel, don't we, whether we want it or not, like cloud platform services, they're kind of the future of gaming. And Microsoft, Xbox, they're just absolutely going to be primed to just pivot straight into that without missing a beat. Whereas it feels like Sony, PlayStation, Nintendo, they're going to have a bit of a job cut out to manage that. I mean, I won't rule out, I think at some point, if it all falls into place nicely, we could even still see the Game Pass hit the Switch. I'm sure Microsoft would love that to be the case.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Nintendo would have to be super sure it's not going to affect their business. That will be where they're keen on. But they've got a very unique position, haven't they, with this portable hybrid console that could potentially be, a bit of a timeless tool that will always be useful to them. But we'll have to see. Cloud gaming, when it picks up, when we've got the infrastructure, certainly Microsoft, Xbox, they're in a great position. And, it's just great to see, isn't it? If you are an adopter of Game Pass, well, you're absolutely got content for miles at this point to just enjoy. So, hands up to Xbox, to Microsoft. Very consumer friendly. Thumbs up. Like it.
Excellent. Right, let's move on to the second story.
Please do.
PSVR2 controllers, and this information comes from Tech Radar. Hot on the heels of the PSVR2 announcement, Sony has shared the new PSVR2 controllers for the PS5, and they look like huge improvements over the PS Move controllers that the original PS4 was lumbered with. More akin to the Oculus Quest 2's touch controllers, the PSVR2 controllers feature baton-like handles with plastic orb around them. They will make use of the same adaptive triggers found in the current DualSense PS5 pants, allowing for differing tensions on any given in-game action. The PSVR2 controllers will also feature haptic feedback and finger touch detection, letting the game know where your digits are resting without you touching a button. This enables you to make more natural gestures with your hands during gameplay, says Hideaki
Nishino. Yeah, I'd go for that.
I was almost there. Head of Platform Planning and Management at PlayStation. These look really cool. I think they almost look futuristic in a way, and I think as this touches on, they do look a bit like the Oculus Quest 2's sort of things, which have like little like orbs on the top, I think, and like a handheld thing. So it makes sense that they would have moved sort of to this if that's sort of the industry standard that we're looking for. And I think it's really cool that they're going to put into the haptic feedback and the finger touch detection. I think it's a really cool idea. We certainly love the haptic feedback that is on the new DualSense. So what do you make of this, Tabs?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Nice to see that Sony are sticking with PSVR. We've both said, haven't we, in the past, that we think it's potentially the future of gaming again, and it's got some real potential as long as some of the technological wrinkles get smoothed out. These look great. Like you say, I think Oculus, generally, they tend to be market leading, or they seem to be, from my perspective, limited perspective on VR peripherals. But yeah, if they're aping that design and hopefully bringing the price down, as Sony tend to with these things, it's only a good thing. Amazing that they've incorporated haptics. Presumably the orb things are merely just to kind of protect you from smacking into your TV and stuff and breaking stuff. They're like, they kind of can see where your hand almost protectively. I don't know if they've got any tech in them. They look quite thin, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know in that respect whether they've got potentiometers and stuff like that in there to sense, like, you know, where they are and stuff. I don't know.
Well, it says it also features haptic feedback and finger touch detection, letting a game know where your digits are resting without you touching a button. I mean, that's interesting.
Suggest it's got some sensors like built into it. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it sounds quite the intense degree of detection. So maybe we'll see some more kind of, I don't know what the word is, tangible experiences come to the VR2. But yeah, exciting. Again, it'd be good to see the price point, and then, you know, we can see if it's worth adopting, because I think that's the big point, isn't it, with VR generally? It's just so expensive to get into, and until it's just a more mature platform and product, I don't think many of us are going to be tempted to go there, whilst, you know, our good old PlayStation, Xboxes, Switches are doing justice to games as we need them to.
Absolutely. It's interesting as well. First two stories of today are very much about forward thinking, what sort of the way in which the industry's going towards, you know, with VR, cloud gaming, this Game Pass, and then to a slightly less prettified version of the future in this last story. So why don't you tell us about that?
I like the segue, mate. This is where we hope the future doesn't go, but could very well go. So anyway, last headline, Activision Blizzard scummy move. So this comes courtesy of IGN, and this is what they had to say. In the wake of news of layoffs at Activision Blizzard affecting between 50 and 190 employees, it's being reported that Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick could be set to pocket a payout of up to $200 million based on a stock-related incentive clause in his employment contract. According to Kotaku, union-sponsored pension fund advocacy organisation CTW Investment Group has claimed that Activision's currently soaring stock price, which has climbed throughout the pandemic, will see Kotick benefit from the shareholder value creative incentive clause of Kotick's 2016 employment agreement. This payout would allow Kotick to collect incentive bonuses he missed in previous years. CTW Investment Group alleges the windfall could total up to $200 million US dollars. According to the firm's website, CTW Investment Group seeks to hold directors accountable for irresponsible and unethical corporate behaviour and excessive executive pay. Activision Blizzard has reportedly laid off nearly 190 employees, including 50 employees from the company's esports division. Bloomberg reports that the layoffs affected less than 2% of the company's employees. 2% translates roughly to 190 employees, how they arrived at the figure. Anything else of relevance there? Yeah, this was the real kick in the you-know-whats for those who were laid off. So as part of the severance package, each employee was apparently given $200 in gift cards to Battle.net, which is the company's online video game storefront. So yeah, as Rich and I said there, where we don't want the games industry to go, what essentially feels like a really unethical move on Activision Blizzard's part. They're laying off employees, streamlining their business model perhaps. But at the same time as they're doing that, they're still giving a disproportionate, grotesque bonus because of this incentive scheme to Bobby Kotick. And regardless of, I'm sure there's contractual obligations the company has to make because he signed up to this incentive scheme. I think he could choose to surrender this, couldn't he, in light of this streamlining, however they want to spin it. What do you make of it, Rich? It sounds awful, doesn't it?
I mean, ultimately, there's really two stories here, and it's unfortunate that the two are now linked because you've obviously got them deciding they need to streamline for whatever reason. Maybe they've not made much money. Maybe they're making less games. Whatever reason, they're gonna let between 50 and 190 people go, which is a sad state of affairs in and of itself. Not great that their severance that they've decided to offer these people is basically something that benefits them. So that's pretty shocking. But obviously they've made this contract with this is Bobby Kotick, and he obviously that's part of his contract. But we've seen time and time again where companies are struggling. Big people who hold themselves accountable that are the heads of these companies have said, yes, I'm entitled to this £150 million or $1 million settlement or bonus, but I'm not going to take it because the company's not in the place where I would comfortably take that. But obviously he's choosing not to do that for whatever reason, even though he knows that they're laying people off potentially, because they don't have enough money in the coppers. So yeah, it's really unfortunate. Go on, Tabs.
Just to put that into context, mate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I haven't got the information here, but I'm pretty sure they've had a pretty decent year, mate. So I think, obviously gaming has generally been doing especially well during this lockdown climate. So I don't even think they've got that as a potential excuse here, which is what casts it in an even more, suspicious light. Because as you say, surely $200 million, which I'm sure he doesn't need on the mountains of money he already has,
exactly,
could easily go towards offsetting these layoffs for whatever reason, they're justifying them. It just doesn't sit right, does it? It doesn't sit right when people are losing their livelihoods, being put at risk in a very challenging environment, and he's walking away with a big fat bonus check. So
it doesn't sit right at all, does it? They're so misaligned with each other. On one hand, you've got we're making people redundant because the company's struggling, and on the other hand, the CEOs is raking the money in from the company because it's doing really well. It just literally the two things don't compute in my mind.
We said before the call, I think Activision Blizzard are challenging EA for the fiefdom of the absolute scoundrels of the games industry.
Absolutely.
And we've got to keep shouting about it. Hopefully Bloomberg, Jason Schreier will carry on in that theme as well. But that will wrap us up this week, apart from everything else. So over to you, Rich. Do you want to kick us off?
Absolutely, and the first bit of the story in this, which I thought Tabs might like, the Valheim composer is in talks to release the game's soundtrack on vinyl.
Incredible. Yeah, I would like that. It's a lovely soundtrack as well.
I thought you'd like that.
I'm going to have to keep an eye out for that one. Next up, Resident Evil Village opening has potentially been revealed by known leaker. Interesting.
Yeah, apparently the first 30 minutes of the game is detailed in quite some detail on a post somewhere on the internet. And then the last item says Square Enix presents live stream. So insert here what was on that about. What was it about? It's literally just finished, I believe.
Yeah, in our world, it's Thursday when we film, so it started at 5 p.m. UK time. And we think it's about 50 minutes long, didn't we, Rich? So from the blurb, it wasn't exciting enough for us to stall the news and try and crowbar it in for you. So hopefully, I mean, we've said that now, Rich, Square are probably releasing a new console, aren't they? A new next generation console. But no, hopefully you get a chance to check that out separately. And I think that'll do us for today. So yeah, as ever, if you've not already, shame on you, smash that like button. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel, you've rang the bell for notifications, stay up to date with everything we do, and yeah, drop us a note in the comments. Let us know how you're doing, what you've been playing this week, what you think of the news articles. We'd love to hear from you. And I think that's about it. Another one for the archives.
Stamped and completed.